my question really is that um, do you see a space for really beginning to make an effort to incorporate these thinkings in the work we do as African women, feminists, and the movement? And yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
Thank you, Auntie Gloria. I think the easiest way, the quick answer to your question is yes.
Mm,
It is absolutely important
mm,
to integrate and mainstream thinking around self-care, mental health,
mm,
and well-being into all the work that we do. That's the quick answer
yeah.
to your question.
Yeah.
But knowing something in theory is not the same as having an appreciation for it in
Mm,
real terms. For us to be able to understand how important it is,
mm,
we need to look at the consequences
mm, mm,
of not doing it.
mm, mm.
I have seen too many men and women, but let me stick with the women.
Yeah.
Too many women around me who have just simply fallen through the cracks,
Yeah.
have decided to deal with issues using the wrong tools.
Mm,
So then, you see, and we experienced some of that when we were in Kampala, making all kinds of wrong choices,
mm.
alcohol,
Yeah. Yeah.
predominantly alcohol,
Yeah.
and other things as well.
Yeah.
I've seen women burn out. I've seen women just implode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time it happens, you ask yourself, could that have been me?
Mm,
And if the answer to that question is, oh, God forbid,
mm.
then what steps are you going to take to make sure that God will indeed forbid it?
Yeah.
If you don't want to, because we all feel overwhelmed
Yeah.
by something at
Yeah.
some point in time or the other.
Yeah.
But we need to figure out ways in which we can deal with things that might spiral out of our control.
Mm,
And there's a combination of things that can be done. We can, first of all, try and figure out exactly what the problem is
yeah.
and diagnose the problem, and then you start treating the problem.
Mm,
And don't say, I have a cold, and then you start, you start gulping, gallons of ice cream. Your cold is not going to go away, and you're only
mm,
going to put on 3 pounds. So we need to try and figure out what our problems are.
mm.
We need to look for help.
Yeah.
And the help could be a friend to talk to.
Yeah.
It could be a partner if you have one.
Mm,
It could be a professional space that you
mm,
enter into for therapy and counseling, but you
mm.
need to be able to ask for help,
Yeah.
when you can.
Yeah.
We need to be able to identify what our triggers are.
Mm,
And so if your work is triggering you, or you're in a relationship that triggers you, or it's one of your children that triggers you, then try and build, defenses so you can
mm.
protect yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the more triggered you get,
Mm,
the more you will keep fighting, and until you realize that actually you're not fighting whoever, whatever is triggering you,
mm.
you're fighting yourself.
Yourself. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And people keep saying, there are things that money can't buy. Money can't buy happiness. Money can't buy this or that. It's true, yes, but
Mm,
money can buy a candle if that's what you can afford.
mm,
A scented candle for you to sit in a dark room,
mm,
and that shouldn't cost too much. Sit in
mm,
a dark room with a candle,
mm,
a scented candle that can calm you down.
mm,
Sleep. Sleep
mm.
as if you were out all night stealing something,
Yeah.
and just sleep
Yeah.
if you are able to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you do indeed want to finish a gallon of ice cream, give yourself permission to do so. Also, give yourself permission to stay healthy by exercising and eating right and going to the gyms and so on.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying essentially is we are going to be faced with problems. We are going to
Mm,
be overwhelmed. We are
mm,
going to feel that the whole world is against us. We are going
mm,
to feel desperate and feel like we are gasping.
mm,
But we need to recognize when these things happen and then try
mm,
and pull in help from
yeah.
wherever it is we can get it, and
Mm,
then just do what we can for ourselves.
yeah.
As I said, it could be meditation, it could be a candle, it
Mm,
could be prayers, it could
mm,
be, but a lot of these things are usually done in combination.
mm,
50
mm.
candles will not solve your problem. 50 psalms will not solve your problem.
Exactly.
Done in
Yeah.
combination with
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
and I think from seeing the time spent in Kampala, community is so so important. I mean, the healing I received in those 3 days, and that's the thing, the time was small, but what I got from it was huge. I mean, first of all, just even being able to come together with sisters I haven't seen in 20 years, and hug each other and laugh. It's like when your siblings, if you get along with them, who have knowledge of little inside jokes, that only you guys know what, that kind of thing. And would say, "Oh, do you remember this?" Or it's a word. And I was filled with so much affirmation and love. I mean, it's such a powerful thing that I was thinking to myself, what if we only understand, how this thing works, and the bond that we have as women, and in this case, those of us who had worked together, and just, but there has to be the intention. You have to, it can be two or three people. It can just be, I tell where I work, when people are saying, "Oh, can I come and pray and do this?" And I say, "Look, just standing by the coffee place at work and just having a quick chat." I said, we're mentoring each other. This is, you don't have to go to church to do that. There's a place for that. But sometimes we underestimate how the little things, just spending time, giving that's the most you can give someone, your time, listening, really listening. um, that what do they call it? It's a special kind of listening where you really listen, not just with your ears. You're listening with
active
your
listening.
active listening with your heart, because what you hear is very different. You're hearing something very different. So I think where we've become so overwhelmed with so many things that we're doing all at the same time, that it's sometimes really very difficult just to engage in these very simple things that we're talking about. But we have to talk about it a bit more, try to almost educate people to understand the benefits of it, because the way we can see, the trajectory, we see how things are going. It's not a pretty sight. The world is needs a lot of healing,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of carnage. There's a lot of women, people are carrying a lot of pain on a daily basis, and
Mhm.
you can see from how they behave. And then you think about the next generation. So it's something, having those conversations. I don't think we can underestimate or minimize the importance of it, especially with those in leadership positions. We can talk with all the intellect and academia and all that kind of stuff. But I think for me, what a lot of the places that I've been, I still think as leaders, women leaders, I don't see enough of that built into those conversations. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount, just a little bit at a time. Start sowing that seed, because we desperately need it. And I think the trip to Uganda has just, I mean, it fired me up. I have paperwork coming out of my ears every time I get up. I remember something small from Kampala, and I'll start writing again. And it just let me know that my trip there was also spiritual, and there were things which I kind of felt by the time I got on the plane. I said, oh, there's something I'm meant to learn from this trip. And there were so many things. So I think, I'm glad you've said all that you've said. I mean, I kind of expected what you were going to say on some level. But yeah, so thank you for
And
that.
that is precisely the case I made to Eunice.